brilliant but socially misaligned. Dual-use cognition, atmospheric blindness, and the misattribution of worth abstract. This paper explores the paradox in which individuals with high cognitive or creative capacity are simultaneously perceived as ineffective, disruptive, or worthless within social or organizational systems. Drawing on concepts from cognitive diversity, social signaling, and decision-making under uncertainty, it argues that brilliance can function as a dual-use trait, highly generative in aligned contexts, yet actively penalized in environments that privilege social attunement, timing, and affective regulation over depth or accuracy. Particular attention is given to atmospheric awareness, the ability to read emotional, political, and contextual cues, and how its absence can convert valid insight into social liability. The paper reframes perceived worthlessness not as an intrinsic deficit, but as an emergent property of person-environment mismatch. 1. Introduction. Modern institutions frequently conflate value with visible utility, social fluency, and immediate alignment with group norms. Within such systems, individuals exhibiting high analytical depth, originality, or truth orientation may paradoxically experience marginalization. This creates a psychological and social tension. How can one be demonstrably brilliant yet treated, or come to feel, as functionally worthless? This paper proposes that the answer lies not in contradiction, but in misalignment. Specifically, brilliance without atmospheric awareness can become dual-use, capable of producing exceptional outcomes under the right conditions, while provoking resistance, exclusion, or disengagement under the wrong ones. 1. Defining brilliance and worth. Brilliance is treated here as an internal capacity, pattern recognition, synthesis, creativity, or rigorous reasoning. It is largely latent and context-independent. Worth, by contrast, is socially assigned. It is contingent on external validation mechanisms such as productivity metrics, social approval, hierarchy navigation, and perceived cooperativeness. The central error occurs when worth is assumed to be a direct function of brilliance. In reality, worth is mediated by translation, timing, and social legibility. 1. Atmospheric awareness and room reading. Failure. Atmospheric awareness refers to the capacity to perceive and adapt to emotional states of others, power dynamics and unspoken incentives, group readiness for change or dissent, the symbolic meaning of timing and delivery. A deficit in this domain does not imply low intelligence. Rather, it reflects a cognitive prioritization of content over context. When decision-making occurs without room reading, several predictable outcomes emerge. Correct conclusions rejected due to perceived tone or timing, decisions interpreted as arrogance, insensitivity, or threat. Social punishment that obscures the original merit of the idea. Thus, brilliance becomes socially misaligned, not because it is wrong, but because it is ill-fitted to the local norms of interpretation. 1. Dual-use brilliance. The notion of dual-use brilliance captures the idea that the same cognitive traits can be either assets or liabilities depending on environment. Truth orientation. Aligned. Insight, integrity. Misaligned. Disruption. Discomfort. Systems thinking. Aligned. Strategic advantage. Misaligned. Overthinking. Directness. Aligned. Efficiency. Misaligned. Social offense. Depth focus. Aligned. Innovation. Misaligned. Neglect of politics. In misaligned contexts, brilliance does not merely fail to help. It can actively reduce perceived worth by violating implicit social contracts. 1. Feedback loops and internalization. Repeated social rejection or misinterpretation can produce secondary effects. Self-silencing and withdrawal. Reduced output mistaken for lack of capacity. Internalization of worthlessness despite intact ability. This creates a recursive loop in which underutilization is read as incapacity, reinforcing exclusion and disengagement. 1. Discussion. Misdiagnosis and moral injury. Socially misaligned brilliance is often misdiagnosed as arrogance, laziness, incompetence, poor character. Such misdiagnoses can result in moral injury, particularly when individuals recognize structural flaws but are punished for articulating them. Opting out of performative alignment may be interpreted as failure, when it is in fact refusal or exhaustion. 1. Conclusion. It is not only possible but structurally predictable for individuals to be both brilliant and treated as worthless at the same time. This paradox dissolves once worth is understood as a contextual attribution rather than an intrinsic property. Brilliance without atmospheric awareness is not defective, it is untranslated. The solution lies not in diminishing depth, but in either developing translation mechanisms or selecting environments where depth itself is legible and valued. Until then, the paradox persists, not as a personal failure, but as evidence of systemic misfit. We hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, comment and subscribe. Special thanks to the 100,000 who did subscribe. Sit back and enjoy the ride as we journey to 500,000 subscribers.